She falsely accused me of stealing her story, ruining my reputation, and almost destroying my life. But she forgot, what I wrote was the truth, and what she made up was a lie. When everyone believed her, I stayed silent, while she basked in applause, signing deals and being praised as the victim. For those few months, I was gathering evidence. She said I was plagiarizing. She said I was a fraud. She said she only wanted the truth to be seen. Now, the truth has indeed been seen. The moment the spotlight hit, her hands began to shake, and her face gradually collapsed. The hands that once pointed at me and shouted, "Thief," were now clutching her head as she cried like a little thief caught red-handed. She said she regretted it. But by then, all the cameras were on her. I remember the summer 3 years ago when we first met. She was a photographer, helping me take photos during a charity interview. She said, "You write, I shoot. We'll definitely create something together." And we did. We collaborated on 3 viral pieces. But after that, her account never grew. She started to feel jealous, started to complain. At an editorial gathering once, she got drunk and said in front of a crowd, if it weren't for me taking her to that volunteer activity, she wouldn't even have the material. Everyone laughed, thinking she was joking. But I caught a fleeting gleam in her eyes. That was not a joke. I didn't pay much attention at the time. Until now, she turned all those hidden resentments into weapons. The next week, I received a lawyer's letter. Suspected plagiarism, fabricating personal experiences, and privacy violation. I didn't even have the energy to laugh. The documents even included a collaboration memorandum with my signature, stating that I agreed to her credit and shared copyright. I had never signed it. She forged it. I brought the documents to the publisher's legal department. The supervisor flipped through a few pages, frowning. "The signature looks real." I forced a calm tone. "She used to collect packages for me. There are records of my signature." "Then to prove forgery, you need the original source of her files." He paused. "Can you get it?" I didn't answer. That night, I barely slept. I went through every post and comment she had made. She was shaping public opinion, saying, "She exploits vulnerable people for profit," and even posted a blurry hospital bill claiming I had received treatment for anxiety disorder. That was my private medical record. I suddenly remembered, back when I was sick for a few months, she helped me get my medicine. The prescription had my full name. She had kept it all along. That early morning, I went to the bottom of her apartment building. She lived in a building in Santa Monica. The balcony still had the blue and white flag we had bought together. I didn't ring the doorbell, just sat in the car for half an hour, watching the light in her room. I wondered, was she laughing inside? Thinking about tomorrow's interview, sponsorships, and follower growth? The next day, news feeds carried her name, "The Victim Speaks." She wore the beige coat I remembered, standing before the camera with her head slightly bowed, voice soft. "I don't want her to be attacked. I just hope the truth is seen." At that moment, I laughed. She knew exactly what the public liked. She was even mimicking my past posture. A month later, I hit rock bottom. Rent overdue, articles retracted, calls unanswered. Until one day, I received an anonymous email. Just one line: "She installed a sync plugin on your documents, starting last year." The attachment contained screenshots showing my files synced to her cloud account. I stared at the file names, my heart racing. They were my unpublished drafts. She had seen them in advance. This explained how she prepared evidence. I realized I wasn't entirely powerless. I could fight back. But I had to stay calm. I spent 2 full weeks organizing evidence, contacting IT forensic experts, lawyers, and former colleagues. I didn't speak out, didn't explain. Let the rumors continue. Because I knew, when I finally acted, she wouldn't even have a chance to beg. 2 months later, she held a photography exhibition called Stolen Stories. The venue was a downtown art space, sponsored by the publisher I had once worked with. I arrived 2 hours early. With me were lawyers, the police's digital forensic reports, and my laptop with the monitoring plugin installed. The gallery lights were warm yellow, the walls covered with her documentary photos, and people taking pictures of her in the corner. She wore a white dress, looking polished and composed. "Eileen," I stepped forward. She saw me and her smile froze for a second. "Amy, you're here too." "What a surprise," she said softly. "Of course. I wanted to see how you'd display stolen stories." I turned on my laptop, connected it to the gallery projector. The screen lit up with screenshots of her cloud drive, file names blinking familiar letters. Her expression changed instantly. "These are." "The draft synced from my computer," I said, my voice low but audible to everyone. "Including the first draft of my article, dated 4 months before your so-called original." Murmurs spread through the crowd. I continued, "The police digital forensic report confirms you installed a remote sync plugin. And your forged signature, ink analysis shows it was copy-pasted." Eileen's hand trembled, her wine glass slipped, shattering on the floor. I looked at her calmly and added, "Perhaps you should explain how you obtained my medical records? That's a criminal offense." At that moment, every camera in the gallery focused on her. She opened her mouth but couldn't speak. Sponsors quickly averted their gaze, staff whispered on phones. Someone filmed. I heard her breathing quicken, tears sliding down her makeup. She finally reached for my arm, voice trembling, "Amy, please, don't do this. We can reconcile. I was jealous." "Does jealousy justify theft, forgery, and privacy invasion?" I looked at her hands. "Let go." Her fingertips, icy and shaking, released. Minutes later, the police arrived. I handed over the report. She was escorted out. The media reported that night, photographer of stolen stories suspected of forgery and illegal data access. Comments began to reverse, showing her original accusation video compared to her now timid expression. One person wrote, "Turns out she was the one stealing stories all along." A week later, her account was banned, and brands terminated contracts. I received court summons. She pled guilty and agreed to mediation. The lawyer asked if I would accept. I said, "No. I want a record. Not for revenge, but as a warning." In the end, she received a 2-year suspended sentence and had to pay $100,000 in damages. I didn't keep the money, it was all donated to the Journalism Ethics Fund. I reopened my account and posted a photo, Los Angeles at night, the sea windy, lights scattering like gold. The caption had only one line. She said I stole her life. But in truth, she just lost her soul.